It's another week and it's another midweek message. This week I want to talk about place. I want to talk about how important place is, what place means to us, and why you need to focus on the place that you're in. Now, it might seem odd to talk about place because we have places everywhere. Like right now, I'm in a bike shop. That's also a church building. That also is a club room for Young Life. This place does multiple things, but the fact is, it's a place. Now, place becomes very important when we look at things in Scripture. For instance, the land of milk and honey. In Exodus chapter 3, the Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I'm concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now, our first image of that, if we don't think about it for a moment, the land is just this concept that says, oh, it's a milk and honey. Well, milk comes from goats and sheep, predominantly goats at that time. Honey, now scholars would tend to say it might either be bee honey or date honey, date syrup, but the fact is, it's things that come from the land. Now, when we talk about Egypt for a moment, Egypt is very watered, very fertile land because of the river. The Nile flows through there, so there is irrigation. Just with the kick of their heel in a mud reservoir, they would be able to have water go into the different fields. The land of Egypt, they were always cared for and taken care of as slaves. Now that place, when we talk about place for a moment, that place of Egypt was easy when it came to life. All they had to do was work as a slave. Again, their food was taken care of. Now, we know that they were brutally beaten. There was a lot of things going on, but we also know that when the Israelites wanted to leave and they were out on their trail heading to the land of milk and honey, they were reminiscing and missing some of the stability and safety of being a slave. Now, when we talk about place, and we think about this for a moment, the land of milk and honey, this meant that it was wild land, that it wasn't safe, that you had to shepherd your sheep, that you had to make sure you were getting them to sources of water, because the water flowed from the hills, because it was governed by the natural order of things. Now, since God is the God of all and controls the weather, we know that God has set up weather patterns. So when there's the land of milk and honey, it's not that milk and honey was just popping out of the ground. No, the fact is they were going to have to work for it, but they would be free. Now, when we think about place, which place would you rather be? A place of slavery and safety, or a place of freedom and cared for by God? When we think about place, so many times we talk about where we're going and what we're doing. But the fact is that place is a very important piece to our lives, because the place that we're at, the locations that we spend time in dictate where our heart can be. See, I stand in this room because this room has been a place that has been near and dear in my heart since 2012. This room has been used for so many different things. This place has been a place of worship, has been a place of concerts, of socializing, of birthday parties, of a bicycle shop. I mean, the list goes on and on of what this place has done. But this place has always been a land that God has been using since the 1800s. And his people have been engaging in this place. See, so when I step on this property, I find that there's a moment of place that starts to happen. Now, there's a lot of work that goes into this property. Friends of mine and volunteers take care of this property. We sweep the floors, mow the lawn, and there's upkeep. But yet I have the freedom to do what I need to do. See, when we talk about place and we think about the Egyptians, you know, it's funny because so many times we complain about where we live at or what we do. I do, at least. And at the end of the day, though, we have these places and these spaces that we roam in. And see, I wonder if we have to learn how to be in places that we rely more on God and have to do a little more work to care for it, versus places that everything's nice and safe and taken care of, but we're a slave to the system. What are you being enslaved with out of comfort in the place that you're at? What are you doing? Maybe it's your job and you love the security of the paycheck that's there. Maybe you get a really nice paycheck, but you hate that place of work. Maybe there's a place of relationships that need to be mended. Or maybe it's a place that's just your own home and you're frustrated with how it's at and you feel like you're a slave to your property. I don't know. You can put in what you want there, but at the end of the day, I want you to take moment of the places that you're in, the physical locations that you're engaging in, and how do you relate to it? Because when we see the Israelites, they got frustrated with the beauty of relying on God. And I wonder when we rely on God more, if it actually expands us to have more freedom. So I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. Notice the places that you're at. How do you interact with them? What does the physical geographic space mean to you, and how does it affect your life? Does it get you closer to God or pull you away from Him? Are you in Egypt or are you in Canaan? I hope your week is awesome, and I hope that you found this to be encouraging. Feel free to share with your friends, like it, drop comments, do all that good stuff because I love hearing from you. Feel free to email me at sroth@llmc.org. God bless, and go rock the rest of your week.